Good evening. We're on Chav Zayin Amud Aleph, third Perek. Hamaniyachet hakad b'rshut harabim. If someone put a jug in public property, ba heaven it's kalva ushvara, and another person trips over it and breaks it, patur, he's patur. Ve'im huzakbo. But if the guy was damaged by this item in the street, bala havit hayav bin is called the owner of the barrel is chayav. So the obvious question, the Gemara says, patah b'echad v'siyam havit. Started off the case is it's a jug and he ended off with a barrel. How's that possible? What is it? Is it a barrel or is it a jug? We also have a different Mishnah. Someone was walking through public property holding a barrel. The guy was holding like a beam. And the barrel, the jug, right, so went from barrel to jug, broke on that guy's beam. Patur is patur. But there it was the opposite. It started with barrel, ended off the jug. In another case, if someone was walking with his barrel of wine, and another person was coming with his jug of honey, and the guy's honey jar, the guy's honey barrel broke, and the first guy ended up spilling out his wine from his container in order to save the honey in it. He's only entitled to his labor, meaning if the guy emptied out his contents of his barrel of wine in order to save the other guy's honey, he's not entitled to the value of the wine that he spilled out. You can't tell the guy, oh, I spent $100 of my wine, I spilled it on the floor to save $1,000 of your honey, you should pay me back my wine. Nope, you get paid for the labor that you did. Over there, that Braita also started off the case as it was a jug and ended up calling it a barrel. For those joining us right now, we just started the new Mishnah and Gemara, where seemingly the lashon of jug and barrel are interchangeable. They start the case off as jug and end off with barrel, or vice versa. So Gemara says why it's not a problem. Amara papa hainu kad hainu habit. The words can have the same thing. It's a kad, havit, it can mean jug, barrel, or interchangeable. The mind of coming now, what's the difference? What's the difference if that's interchangeable? It comes in handy if someone is buying and selling stuff, right? And in purchasing. If I say I'm selling my havit, and then which usually means barrel, and someone else says, oh, I have a kad, which is pitcher, I could give him that as well. It's not like I lied. Okay. What's the circumstance? Right, so now we talk about what happened. And if it's a location where a pitcher is not called a havit and a barrel is not called a kad, how can you give the guy the other thing? He doesn't call it a havit. Lo tricha must be talking about a case. Most people call the pitcher a kad, and most people call a barrel a havit. But there's a minority of people who call the barrel a kad and the pitcher a havit. In that case, the hidush is mahu temazil bataruba. Therefore, you should maybe have to go after rov that the barrel means habib, not a pitcher. Mashmalan the en holchin b'mamona harov. Therefore, the hidush is in regarding to monetary things, you don't have to go according to rov, and therefore, in that scenario, you'd be able to sell the guy the other thing. Okay, back to our Mishnah. Someone puts something on the floor. Another person walks by, trips on it, and breaks the item. The guy was walking and had to pay for it. He should have watched where he was going. Watch where you're going, bro. Why don't you look what you stepped on? It's referring to a case where the owner of the pitcher filled up the whole location full of pitchers. Right? So therefore, it's not like I can watch where I'm going. I'm trying to squeeze myself through all these maze that you put on the floor of all your stuff and actually knock one over. Patur. Shmuel Amar different answer, but Afilashin was referring to where it was dark. Third answer, it was right by the corner, and when I made the turn, I couldn't have seen it coming, so therefore I'm Patur. Amara Papa, Lodaika, Mathnitin. Our Mishnah is not precise. Ela o Kishmuel o Rabbi Yochanan. Either like Shmuel or Rabbi Yochanan. The Ikirav, because if it was according to Rav, where it was a maze of pictures on the floor, my area nitkal. Why did I have to mention that you stumble on it? Afilu shavar nami. Even if you broke it on purpose, you should batur, right? Because if you made it impossible for people to pass by, then it's not my problem. Amar Rav Zvi mashmei de Rava hu hadin da'afilu shavar. It's true, indeed. If the guy did it on purpose, deliberately, and he broke it, he'd be patur as well. Why did the Mishnah say that it was made it like an accident? I did the bar limit and sefer because the second part of the Mishnah needed to be taught. That what if the walking guy got damaged by the pitcher, you'd be chayav for damages, and that is referring to the case of Dafka Nitka. That's referring to where he tripped on it. Aval shavar lo. But if he broke it on purpose and then hurt himself, no. My time huda azika nafshe because he damaged himself. Therefore, since the second case had to be talking about a case where he had tripped over the item and not trying to break it, so to the first case also had to be like that. Amar Rabbi Abba Rabbi Asher. Hacha Amri Marava Meshmei Rabbi Ula. This is what they said in the Eretz Israel in the name of Ula. The reason why patur is because the person doesn't really pay attention to where he's stepping on. Right nowadays, especially based on their phones, no one's looking where they're going. People are walking into poles. Therefore, people don't necessarily look where they're stepping on their foot. So if it doesn't catch their eye, it doesn't catch their eye. Okay, I have Uda. There was one time it happened. Shmuel required the guy to pay for it when he walked into it. Required him to pay for it. According to Shmuel, that maybe that case with Patur, but over here he's not. Kishma'ate, Shmuel holds like his own reasoning, which means only if it was dark. And maybe in that case maybe he was referring to when it was nighttime. But according to Rava, would you agree in this scenario that our Mishnah was referring to that it was dark? Amar Papa, Karana de Atzre Have. Rava was halacha where the barrel was placed near an olive press, public olive press. Therefore, the Kevin de Reshut Ka'av de Ibar. Since people always put their things there, it's normal. It's common, and people are always putting their things there to get the olive juice. Therefore, the guy should have paid attention where he's walking. If you know you're walking into a location where there's stuff that's on the floor, you should have looked where you're going. Shalach le'erav Chisda le'erav Nachman of his same question. Hare amru le'rechuva shalosh. Right, if someone hits, right, the halacha for hitting someone's knee is 3 coins, 3 sla'im. U'be'aita chamesh, and for a kick, it's 5 sla'im. Right, this is for bullshit, embarrassment. Right, you pay X amount of money per certain type of things. Right, we said there's 5 types of damages: damage, pain, embarrassment, doctor bills, unemployment. So hitting someone with your knee is 3 sla'im. Kicking someone is 5. And hitting someone with the saddle is 13. Lepanda demara ukofina demara mai. What's the halacha if you hit someone with the handle of the shovel or the actual blade of a shovel? Shalachva, he answered him, Haista, Kanasa kamak bet delel. Ema legufa de uvda hechiava. He said, 1 second. We learned many dapim ago, almost 2+ weeks ago, that you can't collect a kanas unless you have smicha, unless you have a big rabbi, but bedin, which is only in Eretz Israel. So he asked them, are you collecting kanas in Babel? You can't do that. What's the story? Tell me the story. What's going on here? He answered him, there was a water, like a well-ish type of thing that belonged to 2 people. Each day that one of them would draw water from it. One time, the other guy came, one partner came and started drawing the water, and it wasn't his turn to draw that day. The other guy said, it's my day. And the guy didn't listen to him. The guy who was upset that the other guy was stealing his water for the day, the guy whose water's day was his day, took a shovel and hit the guy with the handle of the shovel. Amar Rav Nachman told him, he should have hit him 100 times with the shovel's handle, meaning he's patur. Even according to the opinion who holds that a person cannot take the law into his own hands, right? The English phrase is taking matters into your own hands. It's an actual halacha. There's a machloket. Whether or not a person can take matters into his own hands or go to Bet Din, or does he have to go to Bet Din? So he says, even according to the opinion holds that you shouldn't. However, in a case where you could lose money, you should take matters into your own hands. The itmar is a machloket. Rabbi Huda Amar Rabbi Huda says, La'avid inish nafsha. A person should not take matters in his own hands. Don't enforce the law by yourself. Rahman Amar Rahman says, Avid inish nafsha. A person can do that. Heichi the ikab seda kula amalo pligi. In the case where there's loss, no one's arguing that it's mutar. The avid inish nafsha. Keep pligi. When is there machloket? Heichi the lekab seda. When there's no loss, if he does not take action. Right, so if there's no loss, there's a machloket whether or not you could take matters to your own hands. If you don't that says, a person cannot enforce the law himself. The cave lick up say that because since there's no loss, right? Meaning, if there's no specific loss that's going to happen to you, which means that if you were to take him to Betin and you wouldn't lose money, Betin can recoup the money, and it's fine. But if you were to lose money by going to Betin, then you could take matters to your own hands. Lezil kamedain, now go in front of a judge. If you have nothing else to lose. A person can enforce it. They came in divdin aved because since he's doing according to halacha, meaning since he's doing the correct thing, lo darach, you shouldn't have to go to judge, right? If the guy is robbing you, take it back or hit him, whatever it is. I'm not saying that's a halacha, but I'm saying that's the concept. If you know you're right, you could take matters into your own hands. Mativ Rav Kana ben Bagbag Omer. Ben Bagbag says, famous rabbi. Right, here it is. A person should not go into your friend's property to retrieve your own stuff without permission. Right? The guy stole your item, you want to steal it back, don't do it. Maybe you'll appear as a thief. Rather, break his teeth, meaning take it with force, and say to him, I'm taking my own stuff back. Seemingly, you're able to take matters into your own hands. Amalei says back to him, Imach, that's your opinion. Ben Bagbag Yehidahu, and Bagbag is an individual. Upligi Rabbanan Aleh, and Hachamim argue against him, right? So if you have Halacha, Yahid, Kirabim, Halacha, Kirabim, Hachamim are more than one person, and therefore they argue against Ben Bagbag. Another answer, Rabbi Anamer, Mai Shavor Shina. What does it mean, break his teeth? Badin, it means don't physically take it by force. It means knock out his teeth, like similar Lashon to Pesach with the Rasha. Knock out his teeth by outsmarting him by taking him to Betin. That's the case of the Emor law. What does it mean? You should tell him. They should tell him. The judges should tell him that he's taking his own stuff back. Tell? Why would it say my stuff? The judges are taking his stuff back, right? So the lashon of the Braita doesn't make sense according to this opinion of Rabbi Yanai. Tasha, it's true. The Rabbi Yanai's halacha doesn't make sense. Okay, Tashma. Shor shala al gabe haviro l'hargo. If an ox went on top of another ox in order to kill it. Uba ba'ataton v'shachat v'shalo. Very smart. He saw his ox dying. The bottom ox is about to die, or about to get attacked and die. So he came over to the bottom ox. He pulled it out. Right? He took his ox and he pulled it away. And he said the other ox was trying to go on top and kill it. It takes the bottom ox's leash, pulls it away. The top ox falls. The top one falls and dies. Patur. He's patur. My lab muad. Maybe he's referring to where the attacking ox is in muad. Over there's no loss for the bottom ox. And why? Because if he's a muad and he would have gotten killed, he would have gotten paid in full. So therefore, we're saying maybe we could bring a proof from there that. And even in a case of no loss, you can take matters into your own hands because you're still patur. The Gemara says, La, betam de ikab seda. Now it's referring to the case of Tam, where he would have lost money because it would all have been hatzi nezek, and you would have lost 50%. Ihachi emaf seifa, but then the next part of the Braita says, let's say instead of pulling his ox out, instead he pushed the top one off, and it died. Hayav is chayav. The ibatam, am I hayav? Why would it be chayav if he's trying to save himself from a loss? It should be mutar. No, you have no business pushing someone else's stuff. Right? There's a difference between defending and being aggressive. Don't push the other guy's ox off. Pull yours out of the way. If you had an option of doing that, obviously it's a scenario you could pull your ox out of the way, and that's it. Don't push the guy's thing down because you pushed his ox. You're chayav. Tashma. One more line. More kolas. Someone's filling his courtyard of his friend's property with barrels of wine or oil. The owner of the courtyard can break them while exiting and entering. Right? So we see that a guy can enforce his own law to walk back and forth. in his own property. He doesn't have to call Bedin, get this guy stuff out of here, or I'm going to break it. Where it says, Amar Rahman Bar Yitzhak, Meshaber v'yotzeh Bedin. When it says he can break them and exit, it means he can break them and exit on the way to go to Bedin. Right? If you want to take the guy to court and you have to break them in order to get out, you could do that. And when it says he could break when he's entering, it means he's able to bring those things as proof to the court. Right? It doesn't mean you could break them at will just because you're upset at what the guy is doing. It just means that you have the power to go back and forth on the way to Bedin to do what is needed.